So Matt, my mom called me the other day and she was like, hey, my car's making this weird noise. And then she was like, so what do you think it is? And I'm a car guy, so I get this a lot. I figured we could talk about this today.
Yeah, sure. I'm guilty of it too. I've been to the mechanic and I've been like, excuse me, so my car's doing this. So I would love to hear what you have to say about it.
That's my plan today. We're going to talk about how to help people out and diagnose their car problems based on listening to these sounds. And we're going to give you some simple diagnostic tips that everybody should know.
And also, I got a couple things, Jeremy, that have just been eating me up. I got some questions for you I need answered.
All right. I can't wait to hear what they are.
Oh, you're going to hear them. Engine Noise Podcast is brought to you by 1AAuto.com. Quality auto parts that ship quickly and come with thousands of free online videos that walk you through your installs.
Hey, welcome to Engine Noise Podcast for do-it-yourselfers like me who don't mind getting their hands dirty. I'm your car guy, Jeremy Nutt.
And I'm Matt, the guy who tries to keep Jeremy from nerding out too much about cars.
Yeah, that's true. So one thing that happens to me often is people ask me to diagnose their car that doesn't work. And I love coming up with weird, easy ways to diagnose cars that is not complex, where you don't need real tools, you don't need to bring it to a mechanic.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
I need that.
Exactly. And I came up with a list of tips for diagnosing your car really quickly without knowing a whole lot.
All cars.
All cars.
Trucks.
Sure.
Vans.
Yeah.
SUVs.
Yeah.
Tractor trailers.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
All right. So one thing that came up recently, somebody said, I think that I need a new battery. Is there any way to know if my battery is like good or bad? And I was like, sure. Turn on your headlights and try and start your car. And if your headlights go out, then your battery's junk. Or your battery is at least dead. It doesn't necessarily mean your battery's junk. It just means that there's no energy in your battery. Because if your headlights turn off, that means you don't have enough electricity in your battery to light up your headlights and start your engine. And you should have enough electricity in your battery to do that.
What if you just turn the lights on and they don't light up?
Then your battery is very dead.
Oh, okay.
Along with that, batteries generally last 3 to 5 years.
Really?
Yeah. Although I have some friends that swear they're on like year 7 or 8 with their batteries. And I don't know, it sounds kind of fishy to me, but hey, who am I to judge?
Maybe they just didn't remember they replaced it.
I know. They take it for an oil change and the guy's like, hey, maybe you need a battery. And they're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, right.
Moral is, batteries typically last 3 to 5 years, and a lot of them have stickers on them that say when the battery was replaced, which year, and often the month as well. So if you're ever looking at like a used car or something like that, you can take a peek and be like, oh, the battery's 5 years old. So when I buy this sweet used car, I might have to replace the battery pretty soon.
Right.
But that has nothing to do with diagnostics. That's just a little fun fact about batteries. Let's talk about when your engine doesn't start. You're turning your key, it's going, and it's not starting. Yeah.
What does it do?
It goes,
One more time.
That's the sound it makes, Matt.
Okay.
All right. So you're cranking your engine over and it's not starting. You got to figure out what the heck's going on, right?
What is going on?
The engine is turning over, and that means that the battery's good, because it wouldn't do anything if the battery was dead.
True.
One really easy thing that you can do, which is also a little bit dangerous.
Ooh, I like it.
You can take off your intake hose with like a screwdriver, because pretty much any flat-tipped screwdriver will take off an intake hose, and just shoot a little carb cleaner in the intake, just for maybe 2 seconds.
Oh, boy.
You just want a little bit of fuel in the intake.
Oh, boy.
With a carbureted car, you just shoot it right in the carb, and then you turn the engine over. And if it fires up, you know you get a fuel problem. If it doesn't do anything, then you know that fuel is unlikely to be your problem because you added fuel to it and it didn't ignite the fuel.
Right.
If it did start up and run for like 2 seconds, then you're like, oh, okay, well, I just sprayed carb cleaner in the intake and suddenly it works. Clearly, when I'm turning over the engine by itself, I'm not getting fuel for some reason.
Could be your fuel pump or broken line or something.
Or like a fuse or a relay or something like that preventing your fuel pump from turning on. On new cars, there's a lot of weird things that can prevent your fuel pump from turning on. And actually, even in the 1990s, I don't know if they still do it, but Ford actually had a really interesting fuel cutoff switch that was often in like the trunk of cars. So if you were driving your Ford Probe and you backed it up into a telephone pole, it would shut the fuel pump off because it knew that the car was in an accident.
Smart.
That actually happened to a friend of mine. And she was like, yeah, I had my car towed to my house and the thing won't start. So I go over, pop open the trunk, flick the switch, and the thing started right up. Somebody had just bumped into her or she bumped into something. I don't even know what the story was. But
before that, did you try starting the car?
Oh, yeah.
And what did it sound like?
I'm not going to do it again, Matt.
Come on.
No, I'm not going to do it. Good try, though. All right. So you go to start your car, and now it's clicking. I think we've had that sound before.
Oh, yeah.
If you hear the starter go click, 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 Matt loves my sound effects.
I do.
So if you hear it click really quickly, you know that your starter is making that noise, and there's really only a couple reasons that can happen. Your battery does not have enough juice in it to spin the starter over, or you have a starter solenoid problem. Or there's a small chance that the battery cable itself could be whack.
Could be whack, yo.
Yeah, that's what the kids are saying these days, right?
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes the battery cable will get corrosion on the battery end or on the starter end, and it will actually cause like a voltage drop, or it'll just be a bad connection.
So it could be a couple things.
Yeah, but if you hear that noise, you can pretty much jump over to your starter and be like, okay, I'm going to wiggle the battery cables, make sure they're good.
Yeah.
I'm going to try the dead battery test that I told you about earlier with the headlights.
Right.
And then you can kind of get an idea if it's your battery, if it's the wires, or if it's the starter itself. Next on the list is engine noises.
Oh, boy.
Almost like a podcast name. Engine Noise Podcast, we're talking engine noises.
Wow, it's perfect.
Okay, so you have an engine noise, and you're not sure where the heck it's coming from. There's just some like squeaky noise or like a thumping noise or some kind of noise coming from your engine. Best thing to do, take off the serpentine belt or take off the alternator belt or the AC belt or whatever belt is on the engine.
Turn the engine off first.
Exactly, yeah.
And then take it off.
Right, take off this belt and then start it up for a second and see if the noise goes away.
Is that dangerous?
You can run it for a very short time without like your water pump spinning and your alternator spinning and your power steering pump spinning and AC.
It
all
won't
that
mess
crap.
anything up.
I mean, you don't want to run it for days. You're gonna if you don't spin your water pump, you're gonna overheat your engine. But you're safe to do it for
Yeah.
a small
the
time.
engine's not going to heat up in 20 seconds.
Nah, I'd give it a good 20 seconds.
Okay.
After that, I'd probably shut it off.
Okay.
I wouldn't get crazy with it, Matt.
All right. Okay. You take the serpentine
All right.
belt
So you
off.
take the serpentine belt off, which on a lot of cars is you use a ratchet, but you don't even need any sort of sockets. You just stick the ratchet in the serpentine belt tensioner and you move the serpentine belt tensioner out of the way and you can pull the belt off. Super easy to do. And that will tell you if the noise is one of the accessories on the engine. Because if you don't have a belt spinning all the accessories, then none of the accessories are spinning. Therefore, you can rule out all of those things.
Smart. It's a smart move.
It's a thing that has worked many times in the work parking lot when my friends need some assistance finding out what the horrible noise is. And what actually happened to me years ago is I had a awesome 1997 Honda Civic that I miss dearly.
Nice.
It sounded like the engine was going to explode. And I was like, oh my God, my engine's dying. And that is impossible because it's a Honda Civic, and Honda Civic engines don't blow up.
Could you give me an example of what it sounded like?
I'm not going to do the sound again, Matt. It's just not going to happen.
Okay.
So I heard the noise. I then called up a junkyard, and I found a junkyard that had an engine because I was like, yeah, it's got to be the engine. And then I went home that night, and I didn't buy the engine or anything. I just wanted to know that I had one available if I needed one. So I went home that night, took my AC belt off. It was my AC compressor.
Oh.
I swore it sounded like a knocking bottom end of an engine. It was like a main bearing sound from a Honda Civic. And I was like, okay, well, the engine's junk. That's it. I guess I'm going to replace the engine. But that was not the case. Took the belt off, left it off for the rest of the time I owned the car.
Yeah. You didn't need the AC.
No,
belt,
I don't need
right?
AC. I got windows, manual roll-up windows.
A lot of vehicles you can do that, right? Just take the
just the AC belt
reroute
off.
the belt
Yep.
in a certain way.
Yeah, they even sell kits to, if you remove the AC compressor, you can buy just a pulley that goes in its place. It basically allows you to not spend $800 on an AC compressor or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Sure, you don't have AC anymore.
Right.
But you can still use the same belt that has always been on the engine. And, the pulley setup is like probably $50.
Yeah.
Saves you quite a bit of money as long as you can live without AC.
Nice.
All right. This is one of my favorites, is wheel balance. It's really great, Matt.
Oh, wow.
That's right. So
Wheelie said that, didn't you?
I really did. So you're driving down the road and something is vibrating. If it's your steering wheel, it's coming from your front wheels. If it's your seat that's vibrating, it's coming from your rear wheels. That's just how it works. If you don't believe it, you can always rotate your tires from your front to your rear and then drive down the road again and see if the vibration moves from your steering wheel to your seat or from your seat to your steering wheel. That is just a super easy way to narrow down where the vibrations are coming from. I've tested this a trillion times, and it's like almost 100% accurate. It's crazy. Actually, a good example is my friend's Ram truck. He put some new wheels on it, some fancy chrome ones with big tires. After a few months, driving down the highway, the thing would shake the fillings out of your teeth because the seats were vibrating like crazy. And I was like, well, your back tires are way out of whack as far as your wheel weights go. And sure enough, he brought the wheels and tires and the truck to a local place, got the wheels balanced, fixed it all up. It was the rear wheels. It was just a simple and easy wheel balancing issue.
And that's pretty inexpensive.
It is.
To fix.
Yeah, and a lot of the times when you buy tires at a place, they'll rebalance the wheels for free for the life of the tires.
Yeah.
It's a good deal.
Really good deal.
All right, so the next on the list is rotational noises. What do you think about rotational noises? Feel pretty good about them?
Yeah, I mean, what?
Okay, so you're driving on the street and you hear something that is rotating at the speed of which you're driving.
Yeah, like your wheels against
your
the
wheels.
pavement.
Yeah, something like that. Right. Your car shouldn't make that noise. Can you make that noise again, Matt? No?
I don't like that, Jeremy.
Wow. All right. If you hear that noise, if you hear a whirring noise as you're driving and you notice that it changes when you turn left or turn right, it's pretty much a wheel bearing. And I would say it is more than likely your front wheel bearing that is doing it, although occasionally rear wheel bearings will make a whirring noise when you go around turns and, in one direction and not the other. Diagnosing a wheel bearing is pretty easy because it's a whirring noise that changes when you turn left or right. Last one on my list, whining noises. And I'm not talking about your sister, Matt.
If I had a sister.
One thing that came up recently, a friend has a Durango.
Pretty much the same body as a Dakota, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Or frame, sorry.
Right, the same chassis, platform
same
kind
chassis.
of thing. Yeah. So he has a problem where there's a whining noise coming from somewhere under the car, and it sounds like it's an axle, but he's not sure. Could be a transfer case, not really sure. There's a couple different things that you can do. You can jack up the car to have all four wheels off the ground, and then you just drop it and drive. You have to be safe with this because obviously the car could fall off the jack stands and you could drive away. Jack it up off the ground, get all four wheels off the ground, then have somebody else listen for the whining noise, or somebody sits in the car and you listen for the whining noise.
Right.
Well, the car is not driving down the street. It's sitting in place with the wheels turning. You can listen to it with it up on jack stands. Another way to do it, just change the fluids in the front and rear differential if you think it could be one of those, because the pitch of the sound is probably going to change.
Really?
Yeah, if you put like new fluid in something, it's going to sound different than old fluid or missing fluid.
That's pretty wacky.
For example, if your front differential is making some noise and you look underneath it, first of all, you're probably going to see a leak if it's missing fluid under the front or rear diff. At the same time, you're going to notice the noise. But if you then dump whatever mud fluid is in it, because maybe you haven't changed it in 150,000 miles like anybody else, and you put new fluid in it, it's going to be much happier. It's going to be quieter. I actually did this with a Ford truck recently, and it helped. It at least changed the sound. It still made a racket because the rear differential was totally ruined at that point, but it at least changed the sound. So we know that, okay, it made noise before. I changed the fluid in it. It made different noise. Therefore, what I changed had to be related. So that's what I did. I changed the fluid on a rear differential, and the noise changed, so we were confident that the rear differential was the noise producer. So yeah, moral is, there's a lot of different things you can do to cars without spending a ton of money or time or tools or dropping it off at a mechanic, where you can diagnose it yourself, save a bunch of money, and just kind of fix the problems yourself in your driveway.
Yeah, at least narrow them down.
Yeah, you can kind of get it down to a list of 3 things maybe from 100.
That's always good.
Yeah, I think so.
Jeremy, I heard that 1AAuto.com has started carrying tools and accessories.
Yes, they actually have started carrying all kinds of tools and accessories.
Do you think I can get a socket set at 1AAuto?
Yep, I think you can.
Do you think I can get like a screwdriver set?
Definitely.
Pry bar set?
Oh, yeah.
A diagnostic read scan tool thingy?
The OBD2 scanner?
Yeah, that thing.
Yep.
Awesome.
There's actually a lot of great new tools that they carry, and they basically have them for all of the different repairs that you're going to be doing on your car.
Get the parts, get the tools, and watch the video all from 1AAuto.com.
They even have some specialty tools like O2 sensor socket removal tools, harmonic balancer removal tools, things like that. Door panel removal tools. There's a bunch of different weird specialty tools that you'd never have in your toolbox to start with, and they now carry them.
Awesome.
It's a great deal.
1AAuto.com. Not just parts, not just videos, also tools.
A complete solution.
This is just an episode full of me asking you questions, Jeremy.
I know. I love it.
I asked you a question not too long ago. I don't know if you remember the answer you gave me.
I hope it was right.
I really want heated mirrors on my vehicle. They didn't come with heated mirrors. Do you know what you told me?
I have no idea.
You said, buy a new car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that sounds right.
Why can't I put heated mirrors on my car?
Because the wiring's not there for it. If you put a heated mirror on a vehicle that is non-heated, most likely it's not going to have the wires to actually power up the heat feature in the mirror.
But there's got to be some way to make it work.
Yeah, it depends how crafty you are. What you can do is take your mirror off, and if you have 3 wires in it, it's probably just a power mirror. You don't have anything fancy. If you have like 5 wires, you probably have like a heated power mirror.
Ooh.
Sometimes some manufacturers will actually include the wiring for options that didn't exist. The wiring harness in the truck will have 10 wires going to it, but the mirror itself has 3 being used. So you'll have this really base model mirror on a fancy pants truck. And in that case, you can actually upgrade your mirrors and the heat might actually work, or the power folding feature, or power whatever feature. Or if you buy the truck used, there's a chance that somebody cheaped out and put some whack basic mirrors on there.
Yeah, just because they look cool or something.
Yeah, exactly. They got some fancy chromed out ones.
Yeah.
And you just want the stock style put back on.
Right.
And they might have put a lower option mirror on your truck. You really have to take it apart to see how many wires are in there. But for the most part, going from non-heated to heated, it's just not going to happen. So you just don't have the wires.
Just run a wire. Take it right from the battery.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, if you like fires, that's fine.
No, yeah, I'm just going to do it.
A lot of heated mirrors, especially on newer cars, the wire actually goes to like a body control module. And
I can make one of those.
I know, you could probably just throw it together.
Yeah.
If you want to do it right, you have to change the wiring harness, get this body control module to control your heated mirrors, and you're going to end up spending like $1 million on this, which is totally not worth it because it's just a heated mirror. Just use your snow brush.
Get out there early and scrape it, and I'll just buy a new car then.
Yep, get a new Dakota with power heated mirrors. All right, how about one more?
Okay. I want to know why Dodge to Ram.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm
so confused.
That's a good one. Okay, so 2011 happens. Dodge decides to split Ram off into its own make. So it's no longer a Dodge Ram truck and a Dodge Dakota truck. It's a Ram 1500 truck and a 2500, 3500, whatever, and a Ram Dakota, which is crazy.
Weird.
I don't really know the answer to that, but I have sort of a theory that it has to do.
I was going to say, you got to have some kind of guess.
Here's my hypothesis. I think that it is because the world is getting more fuel efficient, right? Mm-hmm. And there are strict requirements given to car manufacturers to be a certain fuel efficient standard by a certain year. And I want to say it's like 54 miles per gallon in 2020 something or 2030.
Wow. That's a lot of miles.
It's a lot of miles per gallon. Yeah, it's definitely challenging, but I feel like the car makers can do it. It's just a matter of
I'm sure they can,
but
are the cars going to be affordable? And
I don't know. Personally, I think they can do it because I feel like we put a person on the moon 40-something, 50 years ago, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can probably make cars that are 50 miles per gallon.
I'm sure we could make one car that's 2,000 miles to the gallon.
Right.
But all of these different companies, can they keep producing cars for every single person?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think overall, it's a good thing to do because I think it's moving away from burning up fossil fuels that'll
eventually go away.
Yeah, that are eventually going to be depleted. So I think going in that direction is good. And I think that's probably the reason why Ram was split off, because all of the trucks get terrible gas mileage because they're huge. If you split off all the trucks into its own brand, then Chrysler or Dodge has all of the smaller, easier, more efficient cars under one brand, that will be much easier to meet the requirement of fuel-efficient standards and probably safety and emissions and like all these other different standards because they don't have to deal with all the problem truck stuff.
Yeah.
And trucks, if they're over a certain size and have over a certain vehicle weight, they don't have to meet some of these standards.
Oh.
So hypothetically, if Ram started making bigger trucks that didn't have to apply to these emission standards, that wouldn't be a problem.
Right. That makes
If
total sense.
Chrysler or Dodge or, whatever the main brand is now, Fiat, if they keep all the easy stuff under one make, it might make all of their lives easier because they can kind of separate the two and figure out how to manage all of the standards in two different ways. I think that's probably something there. I don't know for sure though. I've never actually researched it. But yeah, 2011 Ram's Ram. It is weird because I always say Dodge Ram.
Yeah, I'll probably always say Dodge Ram.
Yeah, I think I will too. It's a strange thing.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yes, Matt.
Guess what time it is?
Party time.
Well, it's game time.
Okay, I'm ready for the
You
game.
answer these questions, and then it can be whatever time you want.
All
But
right.
right now, it's game time.
I'm ready for the game.
All right. Multiple choice.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What company opened up the first drive-in gas station? A. Mobil. B. Exxon. C. Shell. Or D. Gulf.
I'm going to go Exxon. Okay, I don't know then. What is it?
Gulf.
That's a fun fact. I like that one. Does it say like when it was?
Nope, absolutely not.
Oh, that's good.
Moving on. What U.S. production car is the fastest from 0 to 60 miles per hour? Is it A, a 1962 Chevy Impala,
I love those.
B, 1966 Ford Shelby, C, 1968 Chevy Camaro, or D, a 1966 Dodge Charger?
I feel like we need more information. Is this top speed or is this 0 to 60? What was the
This
question?
is what U.S. production car is the fastest from 0 to 60?
Well. That's a tough one.
The answer might surprise you.
All of those could have some pretty big deal engines in them. You could have a 409 in the Impala. You could have a 68 Camaro. You could probably have a 427 in that technically. And then the Shelby, this is probably a number I should know, but I don't know what those had for engines. GT350? I'm going to go with, although there could be a Hemi in the Charger, and we like Hemis.
Heck, I don't know.
Okay, I'm just going to go with the one that I want it to be the Impala, but I'm going to go with the Mustang. Camaro?
Impala.
Oh,
You wanted to go with it. You should have just gone with your
I should have
instinct.
gone with it. Do you know that they made a Z11 Impala that you could buy with a 409, so that's a pretty big engine, with dual quads, which is 2 4-barrel carburetors, and you could get it with aluminum fenders
Ooh.
and bumpers,
So they could crush really easily.
so they could crush really easy, but they could be very light.
Ah.
And you could get it with a 4-speed transmission. They were basically incredibly fast right from the factory, but it was like something only drag racers ever bought. It was a pretty rad car.
Ready for the next one?
Oh, I'm ready.
Why was a national speed limit of 55 miles per hour enacted in 1974?
I know the answer.
A.
Okay.
Increase in automobile accidents. Do you just want to say the answer?
I'll say the answer and see if I'm just right.
Okay. Why don't you say the
Okay,
answer?
I think it's because of the whole oil embargo thing where fuel economy was a big deal because the United States just didn't have enough fuel to feed all of the car needs.
Ding, ding, ding. That is
Yeah.
correct.
Nailed
Oil
it.
shortage.
Yeah, oil shortage. Pretty crazy that they actually lowered speed limits to conserve on gas.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
We'll do one more question.
All right.
What video game comes standard in every Saab equipped with a GM Tech 2 scan tool? Is it A,
I think I know this one too.
Tetris, B, Mario Kart, C, Centipede, or D, Pong?
Oh boy.
I know what you were going to say.
You know, I thought I knew, but now that you've given me these other options, now I'm totally confused. I'll go with, oh boy, that's tough. I wish you didn't give me the options.
Yeah. Don't tell me what you were going to say because I think I know.
Okay. I'm going to go against what I originally thought, and I'm going to go with centipede.
No.
It's
Sorry.
Pong?
Yeah, it's Pong.
Oh, that's what I thought it was. Ruined. Yeah, if you didn't give me the centipede option, I totally would have gone Pong. That's another little fun little Easter egg that they put in a car for some reason.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I like it.
I thought you were going to say snake.
No.
It's just like every old school phone had
Right.
snake.
That was a good game.
Well, that's about it, Jeremy. Nice job. Kinda.
Thanks, Matt.
You got one right. At least that one was, you didn't even need the options.
I know,
You didn't
that's
need
true.
the MC.
That should have gotten me like bonus points.
Yeah, well, it didn't.
All right.
Until next time.
We'll try again harder. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Engine Noise, a podcast brought to you by our awesome sponsor, oneauto.com. Quality auto parts that ship free and have thousands of how-to videos that walk you through your installs. Thank you to our producer, Jamie Prohaska, and our editor, Patty Ford, and our marketing guru, Christian Hera.
Thanks for everyone.
Thank you, and you, and you, and you. You're getting a new car. You're getting a new car.
Thanks, everybody. We'll have another great episode of Engine Noise drop in 2 weeks. Our shows drop on the 1st and 15th of every month, so be sure to subscribe so that you'll be notified every time one drops. And remember to like, follow, and share our show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, continue to DIY.
Do it yourself.
Top off those fluids.
Watch a car movie.
Tighten those belts.
Lay the brakes.
And hit the road.
This Engine Noise podcast is brought to you by oneauto.com. Hit the subscribe button now so you'll know when a new episode drops. Have a question for Jeremy or Matt? Send us an email at help@enginenoisepodcast.com.
Matt, guess what this noise is?
That is a horse.
That's correct. It is a horse.
Yes.
But it's also a flat tire, Matt.
Ah.
It's your turn, Matt. You have to come up with a noise. What's a noise that your truck makes?
All of the noises.
Okay. That's a leaf spring bushing.
No, that's when I shift.
Oh, that's a transmission mount then.
Oh, okay.
What about this one, Matt?
Uh-huh.
Click, 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 click.
I don't know what that is,
That's
Jerry.
a rock in your tire, Matt. It's just clicking.
Nice.
It's very simple. It's just clicking.
What's that, Jeremy?
I'm not really sure if I've heard that one before, Matt. Could you do it again? Yeah, I don't know what that one is.
I don't either. It was just fun to do.
You're just making it up?
Yeah.
All right.